It's Christmas Eve. The church is beautiful. There's decorations everywhere, some of which don't cooperate. But just know there's a sermon right here, right? In that the Christ candle wouldn't light, but then somebody brought the light of Christ, and there's a whole... I'm going to talk anyway, but just so you know, there's a sermon there. Decorations are lovely. We've got beautiful plants, an Advent wreath, and this spectacular manger, which if you haven't had a good look at, you should. It's beautiful. It's just so beautifully carved, and each pillar that's a character has the piece of the story that is them engraved on the side of it. It's just incredible. So, is this going to be the night that you remember forever, because it's the night that, in all of this loveliness and candlelight, the minister decided to deconstruct the manger scene and tell you how it got assembled like that, and tell you how all the characters don't actually belong there, and try and get you in touch with the reality of what it was really like to live in occupied country and be poor and have a child in a barn. Or, like, this is two stories, it's two different stories from two Gospels. And there are characters in one that aren't in the other. It's true that there are actually characters missing. Because when they found somewhere to stay, and by the way, it wouldn't have been an inn, it was probably somebody's house, and the stable would have been like the first floor where they keep the animals, and so they were with the animals, but they were really in a house. And there would have been people around. They would have called a midwife. They would have. First century Jewish people were very hospitable, and they would have taken care of these people. The shepherds would have come into town, but would have they brought their sheep? The Magi came from very far away. How did they get there? If the star appeared when Jesus was born, it would have to appear early, wouldn't it? There's a whole story there, too. There's a whole story around, that we think there's three, but that's only because there was three gifts. It doesn't say there was three. It doesn't say there were kings either. It says they're magi, which means they're scientists and astronomers. And the animals in the manger, they wouldn't have had all of those. They might have had a donkey, as was pointed out to me this week. It was a workhorse of the people in those days. And by the way, they wouldn't have had horses for sure. There probably wouldn't have been cows. There probably wouldn't have been, there certainly wouldn't have been pigs. Sidebar, if you're not familiar with an amazing children's book called Pip and the Christmas Pig, you should get it. The point is, isn't it wonderful that somebody thought to put all of those characters together in one scene? Isn't it? Yes, we can take it apart, we can deconstruct it, and we can tell all those individual stories. Yes, we can. But is tonight the night for that? Is it? Or is tonight the night we make a point of demonstrating the most important part of the story? Everyone is welcome at the manger. Everyone. It doesn't matter what your social standing is. It doesn't matter whether you're clean or you smell. It doesn't matter whether you're young or old. It doesn't matter whether you're rich. It doesn't matter whether you think you're a king or you're a scientist or an astronomer. It doesn't matter. Everyone is welcome at the manger because Jesus is for everyone. Everyone. This is why I think it's a great idea to put all of those things in one place. There's a time for their stories. There absolutely is. And you should make time for them because some of them are absolutely fascinating. Then, of course, we add some, like the little drummer boy, because, as was pointed out, when you're trying to get a small child to sleep, what else would you want but somebody playing a drum? We add characters to the story too, and then we do this amazing thing where we imagine what the characters would look like. And we have very different ideas. These are very beautiful, sculpted figures. And the traditional sets are amazing too. But then there's the people who think the manger could be created with Star Wars characters and Star Trek characters, equal time for both. People have done mangers. My daughter has one that's all bears. You've seen that one? I've talked about it a lot. It's all the black bears, little figures and everything, and so everybody's a little bear. Troll dolls is another one. There's so many. There's a hipster one. There are so many different versions. Isn't it wonderful that people do that? It is. Because that's how they can see themselves in the story. You can be in it. And not just because you were in a pageant when you were 5. When you might have been a tree. Anyway, you can see yourself in it by creating the images that resonate with you. Right? Whoever and however you see those people. You can be the shepherds. You could be magi. You could be an angel even. You could be the innkeeper if you want. You could be the midwife that we don't hear about who undoubtedly came to help them. You could be animals in the stable if you want. You could be Mary and Joseph. You can be in the story. And it's really important that we are able to see ourselves that way in the story. Because at some point, Jesus grows up and tries to teach us that we can be Jesus too.